We're going to talk a little bit about your announcement yesterday you made in Western Pennsylvania about rural voters. But first, the vice president is coming to Green Bay tomorrow. We anticipate a rally here in town. What can you tell us? What kind of details can you provide about that event?
Yeah, well, it'll be exciting. I got the chance, and I'll tell you this, I got my first visit to Lambeau Field the other day, and it was everything I thought it would be. Look, we're coming to Wisconsin because it matters. Wisconsin voters are fired up. I think she's going to come on the heels of this announcement, which I think is a bold, visionary plan for rural America that makes a difference to all of us. And I think she'll come and echo some of that in these final days of the campaign.
Any idea how big that event's going to be? It's going to be open to the public, where it might take place in Green Bay?
Yeah. I don't have the specifics on it yet. I'll guarantee you it will be big. And these things are getting folks out there. And look, the enthusiasm in Wisconsin is great. And I say this as a neighbor. One of the things we're most proud of, our states are top 1, 2, and 3 in voter turnout. We take public engagement very seriously. So we know there'll be big voter numbers. And I think right now you're seeing a real contrast between the two campaigns. One's pretty negative, pretty dark, pretty backward looking. And one is laying out proposals in our campaign that is going to impact positively folks in Wisconsin.
Governor, talk a little bit about this announcement that you made yesterday in Western Pennsylvania regarding the need to go after these rural voters.
Yeah, and I think, look, this is where I come from. It's an area that I know. And I think one of the things, some of this was farm policy, but I think most of you know, rural voters are not all farm policy. It matters to their economy. So we were talking about things that matter to those voters, like keeping your local hospital open, making sure we have the workforce there, incentivizing 10,000 more workers to work in these rural hospitals, making sure that emergency medical technicians and ambulance service is in these areas. And that's something your viewers would know. You want to dial 911. There's some parts of our states that makes it difficult because we're losing those services. And then I think the infrastructure law that we saw, making sure, the Blotnick Bridge in northern Wisconsin being built, but it's more than that. It's broadband connections, things that we're making sure if you're going to live in a rural area, you got the best broadband, you got the best roads, you've got schools, you've got access to a hospital and EMT services. And then I think the vice president coupled this with an announcement from last week, focusing on affordability of childcare and then in-home care for our seniors to make sure they can stay in their homes longer, higher quality of life. I think for your viewers listening out there, these are the things that matter to them, not the nonsense social, trying to create division amongst us. These are real solutions that'll make a difference.
In 2020, Trump did pretty good with rural voters, winning them over by a margin of 2-1. Do you think you can make a dent in that this time around?
Yeah, I do. I think they've seen that Donald Trump promised and didn't deliver on things that he's had 4 years, and now he continues to put things like a Trump sales tax on. There's no proposals coming out. Donald Trump has not put out anything how to save rural hospitals. He's talked about how to take away ACA. We don't have a farm bill done, and he has not put out farm policy other than to say, get big or get out. And I think your voters out there, look, they're not married to this. They want to know, what are you going to do to improve our lives and bring down costs? And that's what Vice President Harris has been doing and laying out.
And why is it, do you think, that so many of these voters are hesitant to vote Democrat?
Well, I think some of it is folks are loyal maybe to they've stuck on the team. They're a little bit frustrated of where things are gone. And I think Donald Trump has gone out of his way to try and divide us. I just would appeal to folks to listen to what we're talking about. Listen to these policies that make a difference. Listen to how Vice President talks about being a president for all Americans. We're not calling Republicans the enemy, as Donald Trump is saying to half this country. We're talking about we're all in it together. And I would make the case to Republicans out there. She's made it clear. We need to bring in Republicans to be on the cabinet to make sure that we're getting a wide variety of issues. And I think that's something that certainly Donald Trump would never do. But I think it's something that people are hungry for, to see a little more collaboration, a little more cooperation, a little less of the drama every single day, and more problem solving. And so I think for those folks listening, Kamala Harris can do that.
Governor, why do you think this race is so close right now? Why do you think that Harris doesn't have a bigger lead in Wisconsin? And do you think part of the strategy is to try to flip some of these rural voters to get them in your category?
Yeah, look, we're a divided country. I'm not telling your listeners anything other than that. And I think this idea of continuing to divide us, Donald Trump's strategy of doing that, we got folks on the ground, neighbor talking to neighbor. And I talked to a gentleman today who told me, look, I'm probably going to split ticket. I'm going to vote for you guys, but I'm probably going to vote Republican down the line. I'd like to get him on all of them, but I recognize there's a lot of people in that mode. I think right now Donald Trump poses too big of risk for where we're going to go, both on the global stage and economically. And I would make the case that I think folks are still deciding how they're going to do that. So I hope we're able to earn their trust.
I know state Republicans here have been saying on the campaign trail that you guys cannot win the White House without winning Wisconsin. Do you buy that? Is there a backup if you don't win Wisconsin? And how confident are you of pulling it out here in Wisconsin this November?
Yeah, look, I think there's multiple pathways to it, but Wisconsin is critical. And I make the case on this. Every state is critical, but Wisconsin votes matter. And we've seen Wisconsin voters come out. They continued to come out, whether it's in local elections, whether it's in Supreme Court races, and we're organizing on the ground. And so I do think Wisconsin is absolutely critical to this. But I think one of the cases we're making is, again, the vice president wants to be president for all. We're going to a lot of different states, but she's in Green Bay for a reason, because it's important. I was in Green Bay on Monday because it's important. And Eau Claire, talking to students out there. So you're an important state for so many reasons. And I just hope folks are listening. I would just let's unify this country a little more. Let's elect a president who doesn't divide us, and let's start a new way forward. So I hope Wisconsin, you've always been on the front end of this. I hope we're earning your vote.
Governor, I appreciate you talking to us today. Enjoy your time out on the campaign trail.
Thanks so much.